Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first, let's just talk a little bit about the meeting. Like, what did you think about when you went to the meeting? How did you? Was it what you expected? Tell me a little bit about that.
It definitely wasn't what I expected. I guess mostly because of how many people were there.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty overwhelming and eye-opening. And it wasn't what I expected because, I don't know, I just thought it would be more, I don't know, like, I guess I thought it would be like church. Like, we all sit there and, like, get a lesson for the day and then, like, but it was a lot more, like, interaction between everybody than what I kind of expected.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's good. Yeah, so there was some personal reflection you saw going on between people. They would, it was a meeting where they did a reading, and you will have some meetings where it's, there are lead meetings, and where somebody gives a lead, and they tell their story, and what they say is they're telling their story of their strength and hope, and so they tell a story about a little bit about their past, about their life in addiction, and then their life since they've been in recovery. Okay. And they do that to kind of give people hope that have been probably struggling and that are at the meetings. Usually it's a requirement that you've been clean for a year before you can give a lead. So those people have had some clean time. Okay. And so there are lead meetings. There's big book studies, like we talked about the big book last time, and kind of introduced you to that a little bit. Yep. Did you hear anything at the meeting that you related to? Was there anything anybody said or anything that, I mean, it was hard to hear because it was a very, very large meeting. Yeah. And it was probably not the best meeting for a newcomer. Yeah. Like for a new person. And that gave you a perspective from a social worker maybe to see how, asking a new person to go to a meeting might be scary. Yeah. I didn't know there were different types of meetings, obviously. And I didn't really realize that, like, everybody there kind of already knew each other because they were in, like you said, they were in transitional housing and treatment and stuff. So, I don't know. I felt like kind of out of place just because I didn't really know anybody. Yeah. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know the prayer. Even though it's kind of a common one, but I still didn't know it. That's okay. And I hated the part where I had to hold hands with a stranger. Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, but I wouldn't have known what to even do, like where to sit. Like, I would have been really uncomfortable, like, if I had to go by myself. Yeah. I don't know if I would have stayed the whole time. Yeah. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. I think they come in the first meeting and they just are so overwhelmed and they don't go back. And, I can see that. And I think that, because that meeting was such a large meeting, that probably wasn't the best meeting for us to go to. Yeah. And I think that made me realize, too, that, hey, I should probably help, if I'm going to take somebody to a meeting, take them to a smaller meeting first. But you are more than welcome to go with me to a smaller meeting. Like I said, there's some old-timer meetings, and those people they don't have people from the treatment centers at their meetings, and we could try a different meeting if you would be interested in that. That is some another time. Yeah. But hopefully I didn't completely turn you off the meetings altogether, which I know it was very overwhelming, and you're like, I don't want to hold hands, and, and for somebody with social anxiety, I was terrified that I was going to have to say my name. Like, that part alone was like, what do I say? What do I say? And it was like, I didn't good know. That they just overlooked that they didn't even hint us. So. Yes. Yeah. That was the best part, where I didn't have to do that part. So, because I didn't really know what to say, and I didn't really, like, I was afraid that I had to have, like, this story prepared. Yeah. And I don't have one. Yeah. Because I felt like everybody there had their story already prepared to say. And I think that's, like, a big fear, too, that a lot of people have at meetings, that, am I going to say the right thing? Am I not going to say the right thing? Is somebody going to laugh? I was nervous that there would be somebody there who knew me, like, personally. Yeah. Did you notice there was anybody there that you knew, or? I didn't actually recognize anybody. Okay. So that was kind of a relief. Yeah, I was super relieved, but that, that you go into a crowded room like that, afraid that you're going to be judged or asked personal questions, like, that's a huge fear. Yeah. And good thing about learning. Once you learn more about the meetings, that you never have to say anything that you don't feel like saying. You never have to say anything if you don't want to. You can always just pass. You can always just listen. It's better when you have like a little longer time too, that you will want to say something that is like inspirational or not inspirational. I mean, because it's your thing. Like whatever you need to say during that day, that's what you say. And so, you know, so you don't have to feel like there's going to be like there's like a set of rules that you have to follow, because there's not. People sometimes will just say whatever's on their mind. Sometimes they relate it to the reading or whatever they read about God. Yeah. And I know that that's also hard because, you know, you have, you don't necessarily believe if there's God or not. No. And that's okay. Yeah. And that's the thing that also makes it a little more challenging, you know, but because when everyone's talking about God, you know, what do you want to think about? Do you think about God? Do you not? You know, I mean, and that is just something that you just have to kind of discover for yourself. Yeah. What I've told some people is if they have like a grandfather or a grandmother that's passed away that they were close to, or somebody that they just like talk to, you know. Let's say that you know, like my great grandmother passed away, like my grandmother passed away, and I would say, hey, Grandma Trudy, you know, like, I know, like, my life looks real shitty right now, and you're probably laughing, but, hey, I could use a little help here. I mean, maybe, Grandma Trudy, you could send me some kind of powerful, whatever, juju, and help me out here. So, when you think about a higher power, it doesn't have to be God, and it doesn't have to be Jesus, it doesn't have to be the damn doorknob. People always say the doorknob. I think that's the stupidest. To me, that probably is like one of the dumbest analogies, because you can't think of a doorknob as a higher power, but whatever you think of as something that is more powerful than yourself, then that is what you kind of like ascribe to. Is there anything that you think of? Like, I know when you think about, and maybe it's money. I mean, maybe it's education. Maybe it's, you know, and it can be symbolic to you. So that's something you can think about.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit more about work, and how now that you've been off work and you've had some time to kind of reflect about